Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to more of the Grade 7 Gauss from the year 2007. We're on the very first question in C part. These are the last 5 questions on the contest, and they should be the hardest questions. That's why they are worth 8. So we're up to question number 21 here. In the diagram, how many paths can be taken to spell Carl? Okay, well, let's copy this diagram over into our notebook. We have 3 R's and 4 L's. Now, they haven't actually said it in the question, but I think we can safely assume that you have to follow arrows. You can't just bounce around. If you haven't seen a question like this before, it's actually kind of interesting. There's a nice way to do it. So if I'm spelling out Carl, I have to go to a K, then I have to go to an A, then an R, and then an L, right? Well, how many ways are there for me to get to this K? And you think about it and you convince yourself there's really only one way to get to this K. You start at the K. Now, how can I get to this A over here? Well, to get to this A, I have to have come from this K. How many ways were there for me to reach this K? 1. And there's one path from that K to this A. There's one way to get to this A. And correspondingly, there's one way to get to this A. Now, how about this R down here, this left R? Well, the only way to get to this R is to come from the A before it. There's only one way to get to that A, only one way to get to this R. Same with this R over here. Now, the R in the middle, that's where it gets a little interesting. How can I get to this R? Okay, I could come from this A up towards the right, or I could come from this A that's on the left. Both of them are perfectly valid. And so there are actually 2 different ways. One way coming from this A, one way coming from this A. Either we take this path, or we take this path. So there's 2 ways to get to this R. And in general, if I want to get to any of these L's, it's just how many ways could I get to the R's that lead into those L's. So each of these corner L's, there's only one way to get to them, coming from the R before them. But these L's here, there's one way coming this way, and 2 coming from this R, because there's 2 ways, 2 different paths that take us to this R. So there's 2 plus 1, 3 ways to get to this L. Similarly, there's 3 ways to get to this L. Okay. Now, since spelling Carl must end with an L, the number of total